Hello Twins fans, today I want to look at some advanced hitter data by taking a look at one player from each level who I have found interesting here in the early going of the season. But before I get into that, thank you for tuning in to another episode of From Lee to Limestone. I'm Matt Lenz with Twins Daily. Let's dive in. Now, before we get into the data, just want to give a shout out to Chris Clegg of the Dynasty Dugout. He is a fantasy content creator, but he has a Tableau resource that's behind a paywall, but he has a resource that takes a lot of StatCast data that just isn't publicly available. So shout out to Chris Clegg because I am using his data as throughout this video. Now, let's dive in. So the stats I'm going to look at mainly are contact rate and exit velocities, but those two stats alone don't paint a complete picture. So I like to combine those also with a strikeout to walk ratio and what type of contact are they making? Fly balls, ground balls, because that does matter. And so here are some interesting stats I found. I'm going to start at the major league level and work my way down. I'm going to start with Jose Miranda, who lately has turned it around, seems to be that player from the 2022 season, that just 21, and 22, that was just really promising. And some of the data looks good. He has a 83% contact rate. That's about 10 points higher than what's considered average. So it's a very good contact rate. Hasn't struck out very much this year, but he also hasn't walked very much. In fact, out of 56 plate appearances at the major league level, he has walked one time. That's it. That's a concern. Along with that, he just has average exit velocities. So that's going to be an average exit velocity in the high 80s, a 90th percentile velocity in the low 100s. So he's hitting the ball just at an average rate when it comes to hard hit rate. That combined with his walk rate is really concerning for me in terms of, can he sustain what he's done lately? I don't envision a complete fall off. I think he's a major league caliber player, but I don't know if he's the guy that we saw in 2021 and 2022. He definitely needs to shore up that walk rate. Moving down to AAA, utility infielder Anthony Prato, utility player really, he can play in the outfield as well. He's one that I interviewed him last year. He was really intriguing to me. I was surprised when the Twins didn't protect him in the Rule 5 draft, but then he went undrafted. And this is probably why. He has a mostly average contact rate with very good strikeout and walks rate. He's an OBP type guy. But when he does make contact, he doesn't make hard contact, and he drives the ball right into the ground. He hits a lot of ground balls, and especially in today's day and age with baseball how it is, and power and home runs, that just isn't intriguing to a lot of teams. And so while you might kind of rip the Twins for that, a guy who makes contact, he gets on base, right? That's that old school kind of mentality. Keep in mind, he wasn't selected in the Rule 5 draft. So the Twins are not the only team that just aren't super interested in that profile. He's been a very productive hitter for the Saints, but in terms of a major league level hitter, I don't know that that's going to translate to the major league level when you have below average exit velocities and you're pounding the ball into the ground. Moving down to AA, I have another guy who profiles very similarly, Noah Cardenas, I think, a catcher first baseman, and again, very similar to Prato. He was an 18th round pick in 2021. He's R5 eligible this coming off season. I don't see him being protected. Again, he has average to above average contact rates. He's another OBP type guy, doesn't strike out a lot, walks, takes quite a bit of walks. We don't have any exit velocity data on him just because AA stadiums aren't fully equipped with that TrackMan data quite yet. But like Prato, he is a ground ball hitter. And so that, again, isn't going to play very well. He does hit mostly to the pull side, but he has virtually no power and limited speed. And so, again, that type of game just doesn't play well in 2024 at the major league level. And that's all we're going to have time for here in part 1. Make sure you tune into part 2 to get the guys at the lower levels that I have found intriguing.